Good evening. Time is just past 7 o'clock. I apologize for being a little late. This is the March 15th, 2011 Raytown Board of Aldermen session, number 47 tonight. I'm going to ask tonight that Karen Block of Baha'i of Raytown to deliver the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance, please.
O God, my God, shield thy trusted servants from the evils of self and passion. Protect them with the watchful eye of thy loving kindness from all rancor, hate, and envy. Shelter them in the impregnable stronghold of thy care, and, safe from the darts of doubtfulness, make them the manifestations of thy glorious sign. Illumine their faces with the effulgent rays shed from the dayspring of thy divine unity. Gladden their hearts with the verses revealed from thy holy kingdom. Strengthen their loins by thine all-swaying power that cometh from the realm of glory. Thou art the all-bountiful, the protector, the almighty, the gracious.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, ma'am. Ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Alderman Kramer.
Here.
Alderman Pardue.
Here.
Alderman Azier.
Here.
Alderman Hamilton.
Here.
Alderman White.
Here.
Alderman Melson.
Here.
Alderman Ertz.
Here.
Alderman Van Buskert.
Here.
Alderman Mock.
Excused.
Alderman Lightfoot.
Here.
We have a quorum. At this time, I'm going to call upon the public at this time for public comments, and Mr. Jerry Kinman is up first tonight, followed by Woody Whitman. Welcome, Jerry.
Good evening. Name's Jerry Kinman. I'm at 7019 Lakeshore Drive in Raytown. And we're calling here to ask for a favor from you all as far as the Wildwood Lakes Homeowners Association. We have, long time been the retention basin for the city of Raytown. And we go through ongoing issues with cleaning up the trash from all the, all of the Arby's and McDonald's, because that's where it all ends up. And with this stuff that comes down through here, the silt and all this, we end up with having it filling our lakes up with debris and silt. And it's come to the point where the lake is actually doesn't have water in it on the one end anymore. We've also come down to the point where, as I'm sure you're all aware of, with your funding also, we're very tight on funds and trying to keep the homeowners association afloat. We're needing to ask for your assistance on this. I've talked to some gentlemen about some of the ideas to do here. You could go back out here and dredge it all, but the amount of money that they're talking about is about 3 times what we have actually in our bankroll at this time. What we're looking for your assistance on is maybe a day or half day of actually just when it gets to the drier part of the season, maybe having Public Works come out and just pull up to the next to the thing and with a backhoe, pull, 3 or 4 truckloads of the silt out and relocate it for us. Our thought here is if we did this on an ongoing basis, on a yearly basis, and we could maybe gain some of that area back, because what's going to end up happening right now, we've lost a quarter of the lake. We're going to end up losing half lake. Pretty soon, the retention basin that you're depending on from us as part of the water runoff is not going to be there, because it's going to be full. And there will not be a retention basin there. Basically, there will be a backyard, because that's the rate it's going at. So we're asking for you to give us us some assistance on this matter. Thank you. If you got any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Thanks, Jerry. Welcome, Whitty.
Thank you, Mayor. Our Honorable Mayor, David Bauer, ladies and gentlemen of the Board of Aldermen, and general citizens, the City of Raytown. I wrote a letter January the 3rd as a result of having talked to one of the aldermen the evening of the mayor's Christmas party. And he told me that he had talked to the Director of Public Works in regard to the Wildwood Lakes Homes Association and the silt buildup. The Director of Public Works informed Mr. Mock that the City of Raytown would take care of the problem. Well, I was extremely excited that evening, so I wrote a letter. I thanked the City of Raytown for coming forward to help us. And I told them the buildup of silt has resulted in the depth of the lake at the above referenced location being reduced to less than 2 feet this year, making it impossible for a boat to get in there to spread chemicals in order to prevent algae from building up. We spent many thousands of dollars more this past year than we did in previous years. Because of the silt buildup, the algae could not be prevented. All the chemicals and different types of chemicals we used in there to no avail. Well, if the algae continues to build, there's a stench that results. Complaints arrive from people on the north shore of the lake complaining. So I signed this letter on July the 3rd, giving my name, my address, and phone number. And the reason I'm here, I am very disappointed. I haven't heard a single word from the City of Raytown. So I want to hear something in the future. Thank you.
Thanks, Whitty. Okay, those are the two names I have, those that have signed up. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to address the board on any particular matter the board can respond to? Yes, sir. Okay. Greetings.
Mayor, I don't know the protocol because this is the first time that I've been here.
You're doing fine.
But anyway, I'm here to tell you the problem of the stuff that's washed in there. Here, several years ago, the city came to us wanting us to let them dump more water into the lake, which comes off the north shore. That wasn't as big a problem as what we had of the main inlet coming in. And the water from that inlet comes from clear back up by where Walmart used to be, because that all drains down. There's a ditch on the north side, back of the houses of 67th Street. It comes down and goes underneath this concrete tunnel, I guess. And they built the retention basin. There should have been some way they could have run that water in there and then out so they wouldn't push all the silt and stuff in there. We've got rock, we've got wood, we've got limbs and everything else like that. And that I took care of the lake for several years treating the algae. And you couldn't get into that north end at that time. The last 2 years, it's filled up. By July, there's no water there. You can't get in with a boat anyway to treat it. So we need some help, people. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
It's not our practice to respond to. Thanks, Jim. Anyone else in the audience at this time? Yes, sir.
Kevin Monroe.
Come on up, Kevin. Welcome, Kevin.
Hi. Hi. I'm Kevin Monroe. I live at 7008 Lakeshore Drive. I just want to reiterate what Vic was speaking about, the silt buildup. And on a regular basis, I walk my dogs around the lake, and I've lived in the neighborhood for 8 years. And in the last 2 years, there's been a drastic acceleration in the level of the lake at that one end of the lake, just increasing, and just no water there, and all kinds of algae buildup and all. And I think it may be due to some of the construction, the water retention basins, and then the fixing of the backyard of one of the houses off of Lakeshore Drive. And I don't think it was like an intentional, a negligent thing, but I think it should have been a three-pronged thing. It should have, they had to do the retention basin, I know that, and then they had to fix Schmidt's backyard. It was caving in, and that was all necessary. But I think the final project should have been to get the silt that flowed down to the lake as a result of those projects. So that's all I have.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Anything else? Once, twice, 3 times. Okay, thank you. Just to let the public know, what we're going to do is, because there were 4 of those issues brought up tonight, we're going to ask the Director of Public Works to respond to that. But it is our practice, as a rule, to not engage in discussion or debate during the public comment section. So we're going to find a way to get the silt issue addressed, but it may not be at this particular time in the meeting. So if there's no other public comments, I'm going to talk a little bit about an upcoming day for our city, Raytown Cleanup Day, Community Cleanup Day. Mark your calendars. It's April 30th on a Saturday from 8 o'clock to 3 o'clock. Again, at Super Splash parking lot at 5330 Raytown Road. This is an opportunity for many of the volunteers and volunteer groups that we have in Raytown who are always looking for a way to help neighbors and neighborhoods out to contact the city. Please contact 737-6014. That's 737-6014. If you got a truck or a trailer and you want to help those that are in need, you want to help clean up neighbors. If neighborhoods want to help other neighborhoods, this is the time to do it. We're putting forth an effort to get out into our neighborhoods, and we're asking our neighborhoods to reciprocate by helping one another out and recognizing Cleanup Day with us. It all starts back in the neighborhoods. If we're going to help raise our property values and get control of our neighborhoods and show a prideful way for our children to grow up. Get involved in Cleanup Day. We ask again to contact 737-6014 for your help with that. Again, that's April 30th, on Saturday from 8 to 3. And we'll talk some more about that in the coming months. Mahesh, floor is yours, sir.
Good evening, Mayor Bauer and Board of Aldermen. Few items. The April 5th Board of Aldermen meeting will be postponed until April 12th due to general municipal election on that day. And then we will have a regularly scheduled second Board of Aldermen meeting on April 19th. On Friday, April 29th, there would be a joint legislative forum with the school district, Chamber of Commerce, and City of Raytown from 4:30 to 5:30 p.m. at the Chamber, at the City Hall, Council Room. Also tonight, during the study session, Police Department will present their quarterly update. And as always, we welcome any input that you can provide after hearing their presentation. And I also want to remind public that my city administrator report that goes to the Board of Aldermen is on the city's website under City Administrator. So if you have any interest of knowing what's going on, that update is available on the website. And that's all I got.
Very good. Thank you. We're going to move to committee reports. That's the Finance Committee Chairman, Ms. Melson. Anything to comment on?
We will be meeting next Tuesday, 6 o'clock in council chambers.
Ms. White, Municipal. Mr. Pardue, HRC.
Yes, the Human Relations Commission will be meeting the 17th, this Thursday at 6 p.m.
Okay, Mr. Ertz.
If it may inform the citizens that they brought back the glass recycling bin, and I believe it's located at like 6616 Raytown Road behind, I can't think of it.
Behind
Whiskey Barrel. There we go. I'm glad to see that come back to the city. And I also, when the forum for legislative, could I get the date on that again, Mahesh? Mr. Sharma, sorry.
It's the last Friday of the month, which is April 29th from 4:30 to 5:30, right here at City Hall.
Very good. Mr. Azure or Mr. Lightfoot on legislative? Mr. Azure?
Actually, there's no report from the Legislative Committee, other than the fact that I think we didn't make a trip. We didn't make a trip, but Mahesh did. I think he reported that already, so.
Okay, very good.
Square.
Any other committee reports? Moving on. Okay, we've got a study session. The Chief of Police, Jim Lynch, is with us for the Police Department's quarterly update. Chief, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor, Board of Aldermen. It's been 2 years almost since the public safety sales tax was passed in April of '09, and just wanted to kind of give you an update on the work that's been done so far. If I can work the computer, we'll.
Might need to move that mic a little closer too, Chief.
Okay, all righty. First, a brief history. The question was put to the voters April 7th of '09 for a half-cent sales tax for public safety purposes for police and EMS. That was approved, and the city then was able to begin collecting that tax October 1st of '09, and then hit the city coffers around November 15th. Originally projected in that public safety sales tax was $1,100,000. And the plan was to have 6 new police officers, but due to revenue shortfalls this year, we're unable to budget for 2 of those police officers. 3 detention positions and a dispatcher, and that position has been non-funded this year. So there's 3 positions not funded in the current budget year. A crime analyst, and he's been working for us a little bit over a year. A paramedic, and then $275,000 was reallocated for programs and for the police traffic unit. So the general fund was relieved with passage of the public safety sales tax by $275,000. The projections were a little short, $1.1 million, and budgeted for this year, anticipated revenues $884,000. We've seen an increased need for police service over the years. In 2002, we cut 4 officers from 60 to 56. And we've seen in that time period, we've seen a significant changing times for call volume and blackouts during those times. Blackouts, a terminology long used by Kansas City, and during peak times, there's no officers left to respond to non-emergency calls, only emergency calls. So what we're doing, again, currently, our goal was for the 6 officers, but again, it's cut for the budget year due to funding shortfalls. So we're trying to overlap shifts, and the next slide will show you a more comprehensive plan on what we're doing to save the city overtime and to also overlap for our resources during peak times. So shift coverage, we have an A and B shift. They start at 6 in the morning, they work till 6 at night, and the evening shift, A and B, starts at 6 at night and works till 6 in the morning. For high coverage time, for peak activity times, we're bringing 1 officer in per shift, A and B, at noon, and it covers the times you can see there in red. And then an officer comes in at 1600 hours, which is 4 p.m., and works till 4 in the morning. And we feel we have better coverage that way. Or is our intention also to have a specialized unit in the investigation unit to have proactive investigation to any officers to community concerns, drug activity complaints, directive patrol, and warrant details. We haven't been able to initiate that program due to the lack of the funding for the police officers this year. And again, the dispatch position, it was not funded this year, so we're unable to hire that public safety sales tax position. The crime analyst function has become a standard in law enforcement. Raytown's one of the last agencies to implement a crime analyst. Kyle Stoker has been on board with us for a little bit over a year, and he's been very helpful. And it's particularly with Raytown being kind of in the center of our geographical area and other agencies that we work with. Crime analyst promotes proactive information sharing with our law enforcement agencies. They can identify crime hotspots, develop crime bulletins, and access threats from area crime groups. And of course, pass along. And it's up-to-date information with the computer, the MDTs and the computers now. It's almost actual real time that the information is given to police officers. This slide is from the 2010-11 budget, and as you can see, the total projected sales tax revenue at the bottom is $884,000, which is about $216,000 less than we first anticipated. Again, that's just another slide from the budget that it shows appropriation of $884,000, the 2010-2011 budget. We want to kind of give you a perspective of what outside agencies are doing compared to us, and it seems like there are similar trends. Grandview has hired 5 officers in the last about 20 months, and they tested 80. Lee Summit has hired 15. Blue Springs has hired 6, 4 in 09, and 2 that will start the academy in April. And Independence has only hired 1, and I think they're pretty full up from what my understanding is. The list of the employees that we've hired from 2009 to present is there. Diddy Spires. Ingram went to the academy and was on the streets for a little bit, and he didn't like the job and he quit. Ref Wildman, Ojeda, McDevitt. Cruz was here for about a month, and he also did not like what he was doing, and he quit. Holt and Spandel are in the academy, and Reagan I hired Friday. Bradley Valentine and Bobby Scooten are in detention currently. And then, of course, Spandel, as you see above, was hired originally in booking, and you've met him here. And then Megan, Spandel transferred to patrol, and he's in the academy, and Megan is in dispatch. Karen Morris was here for a while, and she too quit. She just didn't like the job. So, here's what we've done from October of 09 present. 163 tested. We've hired 9. At the same time, we've lost 7 due to retirements or the officers I mentioned earlier that quit. Mike Hawkins went to the Secret Service. In detention, we've hired 5, but 2 of those, of course, have been hired for police and dispatching. And again, just a reminder, the total projected revenue is $1.1 million. We have $884 budgeted this year. There's a shortfall of $216,000, which we cannot hire 2 police officers and the 1 communication position this year. A little bit of information about what the public safety sales tax has accomplished. We have reallocated funding and it gave general fund relief $275,000, which is there are 4 officers in traffic in that reallocation, and they have been in place since April of 09. So there's no real change there in the traffic in it. We've hired a crime analyst, and the reallocation of funding has brought back the HERE program, the Neighborhood Watch, Project Lifesaver, bicycle program, Raytown Postal Carrier Alert, and eliminated some overtime due to what we've done with splitting of shifts. We have some work to do. We have 3 police officer positions and 2 detention positions to hire. It's my understanding there's an academy date for Kansas City, April 11th, and looking good for hiring 2 police officers to go, candidates to go to the academy. And we are looking at officer that's, or a potential employee that's already post-certified, so he would not have to go to the academy. And just to finish up, there's some information there about the Raytown Police Department, about crime reports and the Raytown Police Blogspot that will share information and allow people to give us information and press releases. And then and we have our website. If anybody would like to apply for a job, they can get on the website and apply for any of the job openings. I'll be glad to answer any questions. That's pretty much my presentation. To bring you up to date on the public safety sales tax. I know there have been a lot of questions that you all asked me and citizens have asked about what we're doing and hiring and stuff, so I thought I would bring you up to date.
Okay. Questions of the chief, Mr. Pardue.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. First off, I want to praise you guys for the websites that you're putting out. I've been an avid follower on you know, either Google Reader or going through the website. Very well done. People can see what's going on in their blocks, and press releases are coming out as soon as they're published. It's really good stuff. You guys are doing good with that.
Thank you.
I do have a question. When you were listing the employees hired from April 2009 till today, in your opinion, what would you attribute these the high turnover that we're seeing in the last couple of years with the employees that have already quit that were hired even just this year?
The turnover, most of it's retirements. I think I added up today, I think I had 5 retirements, and then Hawkins went to the Secret Service.
I guess what I'm referring to is like the November 30th, January 1st of this year, and then August of last year. Those 3, I mean, those are just in the last few months.
They're retirements. I mean,
oh, they are?
Hawkins left. Rowley retired in January, which is not even on here.
I'm looking at Ingram, Cruz, and Morast.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Cruz was hired, and he did not like the job, and he quit after a month.
And I'm not even, I guess I was just kind of looking for something broad. Is it, I mean, you know, I don't know if there's been talks of, you know, lower salaries than what they were looking for, or, you know, if there was any common thread, or if it's just, I mean, it just seems a little uncharacteristic to have those many people leave in that short of time.
Well, I can tell you, Ingram was from out of state. He had a bachelor's degree. He was the degree was in another profession, and I think he went back to the profession. He just didn't like what he was doing, and the same thing with Cruz. The other 5, the 7 that they didn't quit, they retired, basically. So I hope I've answered your question. I don't. Well, not looking for other money or anything like that. They've retired for the most part. I know Cruz went back to the job that he had before this.
Okay, so it seems like they're just unique experiences that. Okay, that answers my question.
Mr. Frazier.
Chief, when we did the budget for 2011, was your shortfall taken care of at that point? Did you cut the budget back to meet the shortfall, or is this a shortfall that is up and beyond what you suspected?
I think it's for, and Jeremy might be able to help me, but it's just projections on revenue based on prior years and what was coming in, and so the fact that we did not fund 3 positions this year was based on the revenues coming in, and so therefore we had, when we were working through the budget process, we weren't able to fund these 3 positions that I mentioned, the 2 officers and the 1 dispatcher position. I had a question posed to me just last week, and I didn't answer it. That had to do with the juvenile, not the juvenile court, but the student court system that we budgeted for this year. Are we going to implement that this summer? Did you say youth court? I'm sorry.
Youth court.
Youth court. That's still a project for us to do, and we're still pursuing that. Yes.
Normally we do
Doesn't
that in
have
the
budgeted.
summertime, right? Normally when we implement that, that's implemented in the summertime at the end of the school year.
We have hired somebody on a part-time basis to look at all the programs and to help move all of these, and we're seeing a better return for our money on it. It was Krista Mann that worked here actually full-time, and she's a reserve now, and she's moving those programs along, and I'm hopeful that the youth court program will be back very soon.
Okay, so, and the reason why I brought that up because it came up just last week, and I wasn't sure how that was being done. So what you're saying is that we have hired someone who is in the process of trying to implement that or re-implement that youth court.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Melson.
Do you see that we're still having significant blackouts during peak call times, or has that been pretty well resolved?
I don't think because we've reallocated the manpower, we're taking care of some of that. We can't say that we don't have any blackouts, but they're not as many as they were prior to hiring the police officers and moving the times.
And is that more on the basis that you're doing the overlap?
Yeah.
A little bit?
Yes. Well, before we weren't doing the overlap, before we did the study, I mean, it took us, there's several years to look at the, when the data about when the calls were, and it changes. We just started bringing an additional officer in on one shift at 4 o'clock because of that overlap in time that you saw.
Okay. Can you kind of give a definition to why there's $110,000, 965 in a fund reserve balance?
110,000. I'm sorry. The fund balance.
Yeah, estimated for 2010-11 fund balance reserves. 110, 965.
Try to get there. So there's a 15% reserve fund projected into the public safety sales tax as it was passed by the voters.
That was in the original.
Maybe that's I'm trying to get to where you're going. Is that on the budget slide? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's on the public safety sales tax 2010-11 budgeted revenue. Because it's got on there that it was, voted with April 7th, 2009 with no sunset, but I didn't recall having a fund balance reserve.
Sure.
Because on the second slide there, it's got.
What you're looking at fund balance is every fund that we have within the city, we have placed 17% for the general fund, and then each fund has its own fund reserves. So fund balance is a practice this board has adopted, and we continue to do that.
And then that would be used for.
Fund balance is.
When it gets down below a certain point, kind of thing?
Yeah, I think fund balance is always there to use when things that is not planned happen and you have to spend the money, then you always tap into the reserve fund.
Okay.
If I could, I might be able to give an example. Recently, the board, we got some grant money from the Jackson County Drug Task Force. It was a matching grant.
Right.
And I don't have the figures off the top of my head, but with your approval about a month ago or last session, we were able to get $13,000 from Jackson County, and that other money came from the Public Safety Sales Tax Reserve Fund. So I mean that might be one example.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Kramer.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but and I know we have a sales tax oversight committee that oversees any type of purchase that comes out of this, and that's still intact, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and that's just the regular sales tax oversight committee. It's not specialized to the public safety sales tax?
No.
Okay, well, and you've been very open and honest. I've had the opportunity to sit down and talk with some of the officers and kind of go over some stuff. And like you said, projections aren't what we anticipated, and nobody could expect the economic downturn that we had. And I feel like you've done an excellent job of managing this fund and being open and honest about it. So I appreciate everything you guys have done.
I appreciate it. And just, as far back as when me and Dan Estes was talking about this when he was there, I think just to show you the trend, which you guys I know are all familiar with, it was $1,350,000. That's off the top of my head. So, when we did it to pass it on April 7th of 2009, so it went down that much. And, here we are with today's figures.
Well, and hopefully with the economic development that we've got coming to the community, with the increased sales tax revenue that we'll have from these new businesses, that'll help build up this fund, and we might be able to fill those positions. So there's a silver lining to that. So thank you.
Mr. Ertz.
Thank you. A few things, if I understand right, we are still going to hire 2 more officers, even though you do not have the funding for 2 other officers. Is that correct?
Actually, 3. We're hopeful that from, when I asked everybody today in the hiring, talked to Sergeant Rogers, and we're hopeful to get 2 in the academy on April 11th. So far, everything we've done on it would indicate that we're going to hire those 2 officers or 2 potential employees. And then we're looking at a 3rd employee that would be all the police officers' positions would fill that are budgeted for this year.
Sounds like we're
so 3, actually.
Maybe we'll get rid of a few more blackouts. That'd be great, I think. Also, I see that you have the 7 programs here. I know not enough time tonight. Are they available online? I'm sorry, I did not.
Yeah, they are available online. I can't tell you that everyone is, but every program is, but I believe most of them are.
But they could. There's a method for if anybody's interested in like the postal safety alert. I see the stickers on the mailboxes from time to time.
Right.
They can set that up through you.
Yeah, I know that's on there for sure. I know the HERE program is. I believe most of them are.
Just like to remind everybody to shop Raytown so we can help our police.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions of the chief? All right, Chief, thank you.
Thank you.